Welcome everybody to the show. It's Tuesday night at 6:30. It's Dave Stelma. Yay! Woo! I feel like a Muppet then when I do that. So we're gonna be talking about the blame game tonight. The blame game. Go. Davy, well baby, banana, nana, fo, favy, fee, fi, fo, maybe. I blame Davy. Yeah. I've been blaming people probably my whole life. And I made the assertive effort to stop doing that. So we're going to talk about blaming others, taking 100% responsibility for your actions, and how you react to others right after the intro. So do you blame others? I've done it. I gotta admit to it. I used to do that. It's like, but did I go out and I say, you did this, it's your fault? I never did that. But I did something worse. I held it inside and I secretly, deep down inside, went, it's their fault for me not getting that promotion, or it's their fault for me not making money at this. It's their fault. And I would blame others secretly because I didn't want to admit to myself it was my fault. Even doing a show like this, it can be that you're not going on a regular basis. People do Facebook Live shows, do YouTube shows, they do videos, they go on, they do. I have friends that do all of these things, but in the end, it's that you have to practice. You have to come out here every week. You have to have an agenda, and the practice makes perfect, right? So, or as close to perfect as we can become. And so we do these things. So in the past, I had a business for about 13 years, a clothing business. And there was times when we never blame people. Blame is a weird word, but we never give credit to people when we're doing well. We only blame people when we're doing not so well, right? So that's the problem. In my case, it was held inside. I didn't want to admit that I was the problem. I didn't want to go, okay, now here's the problem. Now we got to fix it. We got to work more. We got to practice more. We got to do more. When I played in club bands, I sent out an email yesterday. Hi, Dave. Hi, Ember. And Gord. Gord is over on YouTube. If you're watching me just on Facebook, there's others watching on YouTube. So you can go on either one. So pick up whichever one works best for you. And back playing in club bands, if I wasn't on for one night, or if I wasn't doing, or if I forgot lyrics or things like that, it's like I had a tendency to, blame others. I didn't want to say, nah, I wasn't the one that practiced this week. I didn't practice enough. I didn't work hard enough. So I like to, it's like I blamed others, not necessarily a specific person, but I blamed other people, other people. It was their, it wasn't that I didn't do it. I just, or I wasn't good enough. I blamed others for that. And so that's what this week, what prompted this whole discussion in my head and enlightenment in my head was I had a client that lost a major client. She lost a major client. So I had a coaching client that lost a major client. It was 75% of her revenue from one client. And so she lost that. But what she was doing was and it was a long-term client. I mean, she's had this client for years, like 10 years or more. And so what she was doing though is she was then going, she's so annoying. This client is so annoying. And this client was, it was a big client though. 75% of her revenue was from one client. That's a tough thing. And so now all of a sudden that client went, we're going elsewhere. So instead of Nancy replacing her or, putting other clients within there, she let this eat up all of her time. And then she was like, it was everybody else's fault that she lost this client. But really, what she was doing the whole time is she was saying how much work this client was. We had to babysit her every time she would complain about this client. And then it wasn't that it was necessarily that I mean, she needed to lose a client. She really did, because it was becoming a negative in her mind. And so when that happens, that's when the whole thing just starts to crumble, right? But to blame someone else, but she was blaming me. I gave her bad direction, or, you know, and other people too, she was blaming because she lost this major client. So right away, she had to cut her coaching. That was, you know, she had to cut all these things out of her life because her revenue now was down by 75%, right? But in the meantime, she was also complaining about this client. I don't mean to talk in circles enough, but I just want to enforce it. You got to hold yourself accountable at some point. You didn't want, in this case, she didn't want the client. She shouldn't have had the client, so she had to get rid of the client anyway. But the client made the choice and not her. So in our lives, when you blame other people for things that are not going the way you think they should be going, maybe they are going the way they should be going, and you're just not doing enough work to do it. I find myself in that, and every so often I have to give myself a wake-up call on that. I don't know if it's happened to anybody else. I'm sure you're going to reflect back, you know, after this show and that, or even now, maybe you're reflecting back on a time that it's like you did that to yourself. You blamed other people. It's always somebody else's fault. It's his fault. It's her fault. It's their fault. It's not me. No, it's not me. I didn't mess up that promotion or things of that sort. But a lot of times you weren't supposed to be there. That's where I'm driving this to. I'm driving this bus down the road, and I'm telling you, when you lose a client like that, that's 75% of your revenue or whatever, yeah, it hurts you in the pocket, but you weren't supposed to be there anyway. You weren't supposed to have that client. You're supposed to be down another path. And sometimes, you know, God, your higher power, whoever you want to call it, you know, whatever your choice of word is, I choose God. But, you know, sometimes he kicks you in the butt and says, no, you're going down the wrong path. So that's all this is. So readjust. Or as the GPS used to say, when we don't have it now, recalculating. You're recalculating your journey. So don't blame other people. Don't blame yourself. Just recalculate and get back on the road. Get back onto where your journey is supposed to be. That's really the whole crux of all of this. Hey, April. How you doing? So stop blaming other people. When things go good, you don't say, oh my gosh, that's because of Ember, or that's because of April, or that's because Dave Frohmatter tuned in. You know, that's why everything's going good. No, all of a sudden we go, oh yeah, here's Mr. Ego coming in. It's because of me. I did all that good stuff, and that's why I'm so good. So, hi, Kyle. Wow, we're getting a whole family in here today. And don't make me sing the song. Okay. We are family. I do that occasionally. Sorry, off on a tangent. But so you have to, so you have to make sure that you hold yourself accountable, but don't freak out about those losses and to blame people on it. Just take it as you're recalculating your journey and move on. If you lose a client, if you lose your job, recalculating, move into the next thing. But don't blame other people, because that's just adding another hurdle in front of you that you have to try to get over before you get to that result anyway, and you realize it. We've all done it. Anyone that's lived on this earth for more than, anybody that's been on this earth for more than 10 years, I got 53 here, and it's like you realize that at a certain time, you're just like, not that bad.